Hello, everyone. This is Shashank, and we are doing another session of Friday Matters. I have a different camera setup that I want to try, uh, and hopefully, we have Saurabh with me on the webinar, weekly webinar, and we have David with me. There are a lot of things that we're going to show you tonight. So, without further ado, I'll show you the list of things. Then we have Saurabh and David. Hello, everyone from Saurabh and
Hi.
David.
Hey,
And
hi.
we're going to talk about a lot of things today. Introduction. Basically, hello, I'm Shashank, and this is the introduction. We'll have Canada compliance. We'll show a demo on Canada compliance. It's 12 a.m. midnight in Singapore. So obviously, we'll talk about North America, and Canada is part of North America. So we'll show Canada compliance. Yodlee integration. We'll talk about integration with the bank, banking integration. We'll talk about custom field redesigns. We'll talk about custom field filters. We'll talk about contractor payroll for payroll. US benefits. We also have Malaysia payroll. I think Saurabh, we'll probably show this on Monday because Malaysian customers would probably be asleep at this moment, this hour.
Yeah.
We'll talk about bi-weekly pay run, which is a very requested feature. Bi-weekly. By the way, bi-weekly is different from twice a month. That was a today I learned for me. And we'll talk about, we'll do the regular books demo. By the time we come around to CRM, we'll be like half asleep. So without wasting much time, I will now hand it over to my good friend David. David, do you want to start with Canada compliance, or Saurabh, do you want to start with Canada compliance first?
Yeah, David, let's start with Canada compliance.
Sure. Sounds good.
Super. So I'm going to take myself off the stream, and let you guys run it.
Okay, very good. So I'm just going to play this video. So first off, you're going to set up your own organization. So you're going to click set up your own organization. Then you're going to put in your financial year start date, your book beginning date, and then you're going to put in your tax registry. In this case, it's going to be Canada. Then you're going to select your reporting currency. Depending on how you report, it can be Canadian dollar. Congratulations, your organization has been created. So now let's go and explore the app. And then let's go to accounting. So inside here, you'll see your chart of accounts have been generated. So you can see all your chart of accounts here, all 63 of them. And then now let's go to taxes. So inside here, you can see your group taxes, your four group taxes for purchases, and your 4 group taxes for sales, and your other taxes as well. Now, if you wish to add an additional tax group, you just click here, add tax group. You put in the name. Yep. Then you put in the tax code. You put in the type. Is it sales or purchases? Then you put in your tax components here. So these are all your different taxes, like 0 rated. And is it a pre-tax or a post-tax? You put in your other types of taxes here, for example, GST 5. And you can put in another tax here as well. So you can see you can put in multiple ones here based upon what you require. And is it pre-tax or after-tax? Then after that, you can just click Save. Yep, and you can see it's here. You can see the percentage. You can see the tax code and the type. Then after that, let's just go to contacts. So inside here is where you can add your contacts. So you can put in your name, and you can see your business number, your GST number, your default sales tax rate, your default purchase tax rate. So for example,
as users might have noticed, these screens are different for Canada. So you are getting all Canada specific options here.
Yes, so this screen always changes based upon your statutorily compliance. So based upon which country you're in, this will change from US to Canada to other countries as well. So now you can select your default sales tax rate, your default purchase tax rate, and then you can just save it. And then, of course, you have your import option. You can download the sample file. And each sample file is also based upon different statutory requirements. So if you're in the US, this file will change. If you're in Canada, this file will change. So it's all based upon different statutory requirements. You can download the sample file. You can then upload it. You can see here that the file is changed based upon your statutory requirements. For example, GST number, default purchase tax, default sales tax. And click next. And inside here, you can see all the information. And you can change it directly on the screen. So for example, if you don't want this information, you can change it directly there. But if everything looks good, you just click submit and you can upload it. So you can see it's uploaded here. Now next, let's go to the import log, and in here you can see that it's imported correctly. You can see the original file, which is blue, and what has been imported correctly is green. Next, let's go to products. I don't believe there's any changes for products for statutory requirements here, but you can see here we have tracked and non-tracked. We have our accounting. It's auto-picked normally, just like our normal system, and you can put in the name here. For example, product. Yep. So now let's go to sell. Inside here, let's create a quote. And you can add your contact. You can add in your line item, such as that wonderful product. Inside here. Yep. And then you can see your tax type. So you can also change your tax type here and just type it in. For example, the tax group that we just originally created, tax G001. And you can go and expand the taxes here. So you can see what's in the tax group, all the different ones here. Then you can update the unit price. So for example, $1,000, you can update the quantity. And you can see the taxes have adjusted accordingly down here based upon what taxes were in the group. And then you can click Save. And then after that, we can click on the three dots, and we can copy and duplicate one if we want to. We can change the quantity. And you can save it. And then we can click Convert. Inside here, we can choose to convert fully, convert and fulfill, or convert partially. And inside the invoices here, we can click here. We can drill in, we can see all the information. We can again expand and see all the different taxes inside here. And then we go back out, and then we should be able to receive payment or get paid. Oh, okay, so we're going to close the invoice first. It goes to archive. And then in archive, we can click here and we can reopen it if required. And then we can click Get Paid. Oh, no, we're drilling in. Okay. Receive payment. Okay, so this is another place you can get paid. Just click Receive Payment in there. You can see the payment and currency there, the bank, the payment type, check, bank transfer, or card. You can choose the date. You can put in the reference number, and then you can receive the payment. So you can see all the information here, and you can close it. Yep, so that's a quick look at Canadian compliance.
Awesome. So thanks, David. And I mean, as you saw, we have got full support for GST, HST, so you can create your own tax groups as well.
What is HST? It's GST, right? What is HST? It's GST, right?
They have GST, HST, two types.
Okay. Okay, I clearly don't know that. But why does it take so long to get taxes of a country in? Like, is isn't there a button that you can just press and get all the taxes in? Why is it taking so long to get everything in? Like, what really goes into the system to get all of that in?
Yeah, great question.
Of
Uh,
course.
so when you're talking about compliances and adding a new compliance for any country, then it is not just the taxes screen that need to change. We need to make changes in contacts, in products. We need to make changes to how the invoice screen may look, how the quotation screen may look, how the purchase screen may look, how the expense screen may look. Then there are there is a matter of reports. So we have to add the local reports
But I
in
thought
as well.
I thought we have a report engine that can quickly customize and bring all the reports in. I thought we have a very good backend that you drag and
So
drop at a report.
the idea is to use that, but we can't wait for that to be released.
Okay, so you haven't
For
used report engine. You're just writing the reports yourself right now. You're not using the report engine.
Yes, so we for speed.
Okay, that's okay. Okay, so you have to basically get a lot of reports, and change the screens as well because some layouts can be different for different countries.
Exactly. There may be different mandatory fields for different countries. So,
Oh
if, for
yeah.
example, if I'm in the US and I'm paying taxes, or I'm collecting sales tax, that is, then I need to have the address inside. If I want the system to auto calculate, and we want the system to auto calculate because nobody wants to remember all the different tax rates and do the calculation and put the value in manually.
Okay.
So,
So, thank you, David. What we see here is that we have um, pretty much come out with Australia. We're out with Canada. So we are on track of our plan release. Are we on track with the plan release? What we said in Notion. So
yes.
first of all, AppSumo is now done. So I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, all our commitments will be met. I'm just kidding. But are we on track? When we promised Canada in December. Are we on track? And what else is coming? So what else next? We have done Australia. We have done Canada. What is next?
So after Australia and Canada, UK and New Zealand, and
Oh,
we'll follow that up with France, Netherlands, and
when is
Belgium.
UK due?
I believe we can see the UK demo in a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks. I thought you last week you showed Australia. Today you showed Canada. 1 week later, I thought you'll have UK ready by next Friday.
For demo, it is possible, but yeah, I mean, UK, we
Let's
need
assume.
to handle VAT, and there are some other use cases.
Okay, in good faith, let's assume it's going to be ready in 2 weeks, and then you have Netherlands. You said
New Zealand.
New Zealand, of course. So
Yeah.
you'll have New Zealand, UK, New Zealand, and let's assume you're done with these in, like, say, 2-3 weeks. What else? What is next?
Um,
Yeah, that's my office, and you have to move to
okay.
keep the lights on.
So, yeah, okay. So,
You should sit upstairs. You should sit upstairs, not in this floor. Sorry,
I
back. So what is
remember.
next? So you have UK, you have Netherlands. What is next?
UK, New Zealand, followed by France, Netherlands, Belgium, and
Okay.
we'll just follow the roadmap.
So I don't think you have the dates in the roadmap. You just have this broad Q1, Q2 thing in the roadmap, which is very broad, so to speak, right? So
Yes, but I mean, I am highly encouraged by the fact that every week we are releasing, one compliance. So
why are you encouraged, man? People should be encouraged. You did a hard job. You've done your work, so good. But so we'll have UK coming up, and then we have New Zealand coming up. There's a question here, and we just take it from Wiki. Note that Quebec is different, so not to make your life difficult, we have TPS and TVQ. HST is not in Quebec.
we will, yeah, that will be accounted for.
That will you confirm?
Yes.
Are you just saying that to save your face on live
No,
stream? Or is that...
it is in the plan. So
It's in the plan. It's not in the current demo.
it's not in the current demo because
Okay.
we
We'll get
still
there.
have
Okay. I'm just...
a few things to iron out. But yes.
Thank you, Vicky, and we'll obviously give it to you for a round of good user feedback, and hopefully by next week. But so good, we have Canada live now. We have Australia live, and we're looking forward to UK. Do we have what's the plan for payroll? So we only spoke about books. What's the plan for payroll?
So we are already integrating to get all the 50 states for US.
That's there's a question. Just Shashi Nair is sitting right now, sitting for you to answer. What about UAE? Shashi Nair, if you have two more users in the group who ask this question, we'll prioritize UAE. But it's just you, so we'll probably have it lower in the priority. Sorry, we were saying.
Yeah. So we are adding compliance for all the 50 states in the US for payroll. Malaysia compliance is already in the final stages, and we'll probably take a quick look at it today, or maybe on Monday we can go into more detail. Then Australia payroll compliance, the work has already begun. So we should see something on Australia compliance either next week or the week after, depending on how quickly we can progress there. And once that is done, we'll follow up with Indonesia, India, and other compliances.
For payroll.
Yeah, and UK.
And UK. Okay. So going back to our list of things, we are now in the third item, Yodlee integration. Tell me more about this. I thought this was still a few weeks down the line.
So there is a sandbox environment that whenever we are building anything, then we first do the integration with the sandbox to test it out and everything. So we already have the sandbox available, and we have made successful connections to the sandbox. So everything is working as expected. All that we need to do is connect it onto production now.
What does so first of all, tell me more about Yodlee. What's Yodlee? Why are we? And I saw a few questions in the group this week. Somebody said their Wells Fargo account is not working, and our standard answer is Plaid is not working, or Saltage doesn't work, or there's some problem with Saltage. Do first of all, I think we should explain this better. Like, why does a bank doesn't show up in the interface? That's one. And also we have to explain these partners that we work with and how do we work with these partners. So I think there is a disconnect there, where customers assume that this is our responsibility, which is true. It's our responsibility. End of the day, it's our product. But if the product doesn't talk to their bank, and we had a big issue with SBI in India as well, how does it affect the workings? So maybe you can just speak a little bit on that.
Yeah. So the reason why we went through all these partners, which is Saltage, Plaid, and now Yodlee, is because it is very time consuming to create direct connections with banks. We tried.
I don't think the challenge is time consuming, because we can put more resources. The challenge is the banks have a way to work with companies like ours, and whether it's Zero, whether it's there was a company called as Mint, which was a company where the AppSumo founder worked before he started AppSumo. Noah worked in Mint before it got sold. Mint worked with Yodlee to get bank feeds on their application, and so does Zero. So partners like Yodlee, Saltage, Plaid, they provide bank feeds to companies like us. Why can't we talk to the bank directly? Yes, we can talk to a bank directly, but it requires a lot of security setup. It requires a lot of overheads in terms of getting data from their systems to our system, and that in itself is a huge task. First of all, banks don't allow companies like ours to just hook into their platform, because if they allow every vendor to talk to their data, then it becomes a security nightmare for them. So they work with few vendors, not a lot of vendors, few vendors, and the few vendors in the world are, let's say, Yodlee is one of the vendors. And they talk to the vendors. The vendors then ensure security, they ensure stability, they ensure nobody has access to the data, they ensure a lot of other compliances that companies like us may not want to get into. And then for a fee, they provide that data to us. So they do their job and provide that work to us for a fee. So we pay that fee and get access to the data. So in the case of Plate, they do that for US customers, for US banks. Sorry, in the case of Yodlee, they do it for non-US banks in US as well. And then the vendor that we work with, Saltage, does it as well. All these vendors provide feeds from the banks. We don't talk to the banks directly, as I said, because banks don't allow us to look into their backend systems, to hook into the backend system. It's not physically possible for companies like ours to hook into a bank's backend system. It's very security specific. It's very extensive in terms of security. So we don't do that. We talk to a partner like Plaid or Yodlee. So when you talk to these partners, they have APIs and they have their own structure. So it takes a few months to work with them. We have been trying to work with Yodlee for a few months now. And then you get the data over. So once you have the data over, it's pretty much it's pretty much packaged data in a sense that we can't touch that. We just pass it through to the customer. You'll have to appreciate that we can't see your user password. We can't see your banking access data. We don't want to see that. We shouldn't see that. So we allow the bank to talk to you directly through these channels. And in doing that, basically we let these channels kind of have a conversation with you on the platform directly. So if something breaks, we are kind of hands off. We don't have a clue of what's breaking because it's not us who provides the handshake. It's them doing the handshake, Yodlee doing the handshake or Pay doing the handshake. So if something breaks, there's not much we can do than to just look into it and then talk to the handshake provider to fix it. And if they don't fix it or they don't prioritize it, that's pretty much that's it. We can't do anything beyond that. So there's this gentleman that complained about Wells Fargo connection, and I assure you, there's nothing that we can do. If it's broken, we'll try to fix it through Plate. I think Plate is the one that talks to Wells Fargo, but beyond that, there's not much we can do, and that's a tragedy of connecting to a bank account. If we connected to the bank account ourselves, it would be a security nightmare. So we don't want to do that, and we want to make sure that it's secure for you as well. So that's the thing about connecting through third-party vendors like Yodlee. They're again very extensive in terms of features and APIs, and they're also very expensive. They charge a lot of money to access that data. So we pay a lot of data per customer when we access through something like Yodlee. We have to pay a lot of money to make sure we have that access. So we'll probably show a quick demo of that, but the proof of pudding will be in eating. So when this is released, you'll have a better idea of how this works. Coming to the fourth feature, custom field redesign. What's that about, Saurabh?
So when we are adding custom fields, then the interface was not very intuitive in the sense that you had to click on a button and then you have to save the internal fields and then there was another save button. So we are getting rid of that to make it more user friendly.
User friendly, man. User friendly. There are people that have been rightly so. Some of them are right in when they say there's some issues with user interface. So we'll fix those. As I said in my last webinar, it's a continuous work in progress. We'll keep improving. That's a good thing about software, as opposed to hardware. When you produce something physical like a laptop, you're pretty much done with it, and you have to produce it and then send it out, and you can't improve upon it until you have the next version. The good thing about software is that you can improve upon it almost every day. You can improve upon it on a daily basis, and that's where your feedback matters a lot. Now, when we interact with hardware like iPhone or iPad or a camera. I'm saying this because I have these things in front of me right now. We have this mental block that if it's a bad UI, we don't speak, we just complain, or what we call as bitch. We just bitch about it, and we just assume this is not going to improve. That mental block should be removed. Into the software, we can quickly remove this block, improve UI almost on a daily basis. So we'll have some of that UI coming up today. I thought Rupali had shared a UI for multi-currency last evening with me. Maybe we can bring that up on Monday. But somebody complained about multi-currency, and rightly so. Rightly so. They said, "Look, I have to select 5 currencies. Why do I have to go through a list of 200 currencies and then select and unselect 150 to get to my 5?" And as we saw that, and we said, "Yes, you're right. It just didn't occur to us. We all make mistakes. The good news is we can fix the mistake." So we came around, fixed the UI, and we have a new UI which lets you select, unselect every currency or select, more currencies if you want. It's a good UI. We'll show it to you. I saw it last night, so we'll show it to you probably next week. But once you see it, if you like it, great. Don't like it, we can improve it even further. So that's the good idea. That's a good thing about software, that you can improve it. And if you have a responsive team, if we keep working on it, we keep working at it, we can improve it. What it requires is a little bit of positivity, a little bit of appreciation, a little bit of rigor, iteration. And we have this hardware mindset that if we see something, it's not going to be fixed in the next 2 years. So we just think that instead of improving it, we just have to make do with it. And that's not true with software. So we can improve software almost on a weekly basis, daily basis. And if there's anything that's glaring, please make a thread or tag Saurabh on that thread, and we'll fix it. That's guaranteed. We'll fix it. We'll make it better. That's the idea, right? That's the idea. If it's better, it helps you. It helps us, right? So why would we not fix it? So yes,
Absolutely.
we'll fix it. Thank you. Yeah, that's the idea. Why will we not fix it? So thank you for being part of this whole process. Appreciate it. The number 5 is custom field filter for contacts. I think that was asked by rightly so, by a lot of users. So we're releasing that now. Number 6 is contractor payroll, which for some reason says upcoming features. All of these are upcoming features. So I don't know why we have said that upcoming features, but yes, we'll talk about contractor payroll. There was a thread again a few weeks ago, even I think not even a few weeks ago, just last week, asking about contractor payments. We were building this while the thread was live. So we just pushed it ahead, and I've released that. It might not be in our roadmap initially, but we just pushed it out for you to see. US benefits, again, we'll take a look. And I think we'll skip Malaysia today, and we'll come back to Malaysia on Monday, just to save time for our viewers from the West. We'll talk about why bi-weekly parent, very important feature. So we'll talk about that, and we'll come back to books demo. Very quickly, we're also working on cash accounting. So there's a lot of feedback received. We have some good news. I think it's under development. I saw some screens today. So we'll have it hopefully soon. Can't promise, but if we do a webinar next week, we'll probably have something to show, at least a little bit of progress to show and talk about. But moving back to going back to David and the items listed here. David, you are on. Just give me a second. I'm going to add you to the screen, and please, get ahead, get along with the demo. And your light is off, Saurabh. So sorry about that.
All right. So this is the Yodlee connection. So first off, you're going to click on bank. Then you're going to click on add bank account, and you're going to input the code. So for example, ACC 222. You're going to put in the name. Mortgage. Okay. Mortgage account. Interesting. Put any description that you require in here, and you can select the currency. Then you're going to click Save and Next. Then after that, you can connect to a new bank. And now you see Salt Edge, Plaid, and Yodlee. So after that, you click on that. You can see all the different bank accounts here. But if your bank account
just to add to that UI, we'll probably have it in a way where the branding is not very obvious. We'll just have bank there instead of having these 3 names. So we'll probably have to add one more, better UI on the selection part, because users won't know what is played and what is salting what is Yodlee, right? So we'll just make it
Yeah,
more.
that is we are going to do that. That's already in the plans, but we are adding so quickly that let's first. I mean,
Yeah, let's.
the thought process is let's
I got
just
no
add
excuse.
first, and then we will go ahead and change that.
Dude, this is like our webinar. The three of us are online. We don't have to make excuses. You just accept that, change it. Don't worry. Nobody is beating us here. Don't worry. If you don't like a comment, you can delete it. Just kidding. Please go ahead.
Also, what's it called? All three banks have several banks in common. Like I see Bank of America, I know Salt Edge, Plaid, and Yodlee all have Bank of America. Wells Fargo have all three as well, if I remember correctly. Or just maybe it's just Plaid and Yodlee have Wells Fargo. But, different ones have similar banks. So we're going to go here. We're going to type in a bank name, DAG site. Okay. And then you're going to put in the username and the password and submit. Then after that, it's going to connect. Go and connecting. And after that, you can see all your information here. My cash, my investments. You can select your bank account. And after you select your bank account, you click it, and then you can click connect. And you're all set. You're connected to your bank. And you can see here, bank account site, DAG site. Next, let's go look at the revamped custom fields. So inside here, let's go click create. Yeah, you can see the 14 here that they have already created. 8 active, 6 inactive, and you can see the new screen here. So this is what's changed. You can see the name of the field. So you can put in the field name. You can see the text box, multiple select, drop-down menu, numbers, max length, and default. So text, of course, we have max length and our default. So if he's putting, for example, invoice data, he's putting the max length 3. That's very little. And then you can put in the amount, the default value. You can see here it exceeds the maximum length. So maybe he'll put in yes. So he puts in yes, and now you can see the availability. It's in contacts, accounts, invoice, orders, products, journal entry, quotation, and bills. And you just click create, and it's created here. Next, you click edit. Then we, of course, can select it as mandatory. We can set it as a number. So here's the decimal precision. Same thing like before. And we have, of course, the multiple selection drop-down. So the user can choose more than one, from the multiple choices. Okay, that's new. So, sorry, this is something where instead, like what we originally had, where you can select only one choice, you can select more than one?
No, yeah.
So now you can create, and you can see it's all created there. Oh, it's just a drop down. Okay, sorry about that. It's just a normal drop down field inside the system. Then, of course, here you have your globals. You can see your paid invoice, your invoice date, based upon what you've set as your thing. So yeah, it's just a single drop down. All right, and that's custom fields. Revamp.
I want to spend a couple of minutes on custom field here because this I feel is one of the most powerful features, and I want people to understand it and use it to the best in the best possible way. So, and we talk about it in every webinar, but I still will spend maybe 5-10 minutes on it. So, if you, let's say, have multiple projects running and you want to get reports by specific projects, that custom field is the answer. What you need to do is create a custom field called project, add the drop-down values as the different projects that you have. And then whenever you're creating an invoice or an expense or any transaction, just tag the custom field to that transaction and choose the appropriate project, and you can get the report. So there are multiple use cases like this. I mean, if you have, let's say, multiple lines of business under one legal entity and you want to track the profit and loss and balance sheet for...
How are we going to handle dimensions?
Dimensions are custom fields, basically.
Okay, so basically, the way we will handle custom field is you can tag, you can make a tag for anything in the system, and basically that becomes a field that you can. Sorry, I'm just taking David off the stream, and you can use it wherever you want. For instance, I'll give you an example, or rather, just correct me if I'm wrong. Let's say I have, I have a physical separation or a logical separation in my company. I have two companies within my company, right? And I don't want to do two P&Ls and two different accounts and two chart accounts. So I'll basically have one custom field as one company.
Correct.
I'll tag all the documents to this one custom field.
Yes.
And does it work?
Yeah. There are some changes still. I mean, there are some things that we still need to fine tune there, but I can filter by custom fields today also. I can filter my invoices. I can filter my expenses. I can filter my reports as well. There is still some fine tuning, like the UI, for example, and to make it more intuitive. So
my goal would be to make custom fields and tags. So I would want to add tags as well, so that you can tag, again, probably custom field is that tag. But basically, if you tag every document with one unique identifier, then you can just run your reports on that identifier, P&L, balance sheet, accounts, AR, AP, everything on that identifier. So eventually it becomes like a multi-company, and then you can use that tag. In theory, use more tags to, again, in theory, I'm not saying we do that. I'm not saying we have to do that. I'm just saying, in theory, consolidate among tags. So you can add tag 1 and tag 2. Now, in theory, that should be possible. In reality, we'll attempt doing this through the report builder. But in theory, the idea is that the more tags you have, and as long as these tags are not overlapping, meaning that they're not tagged in one document, you have two tags, right? So you shouldn't be tagged that. Even if it's in that case, we'll probably have to apply some intelligence, but basically have multiple tags, and then you can have 20 organizations inside one Deskera organization, and you can run different P&Ls based on the tag that you assign.
If they are lines of businesses, then yes, you wouldn't want to club different legal entities.
I know. We don't. It'll affect our licenses as well. But I'm just saying,
not just the licenses, it will affect your tax reporting actually. So that is not something I would recommend people to mess with.
As long as tax reporting, of course, because you have to report tax based on organization information. But as long as it's logical, it should be possible. And I should be able to see my geographies based on not the actual geographies that are defined, but my own ideal geography. Let's say North Singapore, South Singapore, right? Yeah. Just want to see, let's say I'm selling in US and I want to see West Coast versus East Coast. So just have one tag there, and then eventually have this tag management very intelligent, in a way very smart, so that you can then slice and dice reports based on your own ideas of geography, time. So I want to see, let's say, what invoices were made from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and just give me a graph. Some of this data is very interesting. So custom field could be basically how you do this. We have some questions. So you want to take the questions now, or you want to take the questions in the end?
Let's take a look. We can take them now.
I'm going to push some questions. So Rod asks, is there a benefit in using a specific provider if your bank is listed? Rod, I think the answer is we will probably have it more streamlined, and we'll test a lot of banks. And the one challenge we had last week was we wanted to write a blog post on which banks worked with Deskera, and we realized that none of the partners provide any information on that. So I had to provide, if we have to find out which banks work with us, we have to literally go bank by bank and check every bank and then verify that, because end of the day, the banks are not working with us directly. They're working through this partner, and the partner has no interest in verifying that connection. So it's a very tedious manual process. It's probably going to take a lot of time. But once we do that, we'll have a better idea of which bank works with which connection. And once that is in place, we'll probably have banks listed on our site, on our UI, which you select, and then we'll decide which connector works best with that bank. So let's say you select JP Morgan, Wells Fargo in US, and we find out that Wells Fargo only works with Play, doesn't work with, let's say, Yodlee. So we'll only show you that one connector, not show you the three. But it's a very manual, long, tedious process. We'll set on this once we have the geographies rolled out. We'll set on this. That's a to-do on our side. One more question from Sina Rai says, I like the tags idea in addition to custom field. They're similar but different use cases. Yes. So we'll spend a lot of time on this. So basically what we're doing is we're adding custom fields, but also keeping a lot of database bandwidth available for tags, and keeping a lot of bandwidth on the DB side for reports on. I'm just going to take Saurabh off because I think he's smiling on something. So we'll spend a lot of time on tagging every document. We'll spend a lot of time on making sure every document is, we understand every document. So every document that you create, let's say you create an invoice, it has a lot of data that goes outside of, that basically is not captured, that could be captured. So tagging is one, custom field is one, but also just the time and the geography and who you sell it to, and a lot of other things that we call meta. So we'll have a meta data capturing a lot of, on the backend side, a lot of this information, which we can then use in reports. So that's something that we are going to work on. Adding sort of back to the screen. He's smiling because of this question. So Sashi Nair is ready with good questions. And the question is, can we have multiple dimensions, if any limitation to create custom field per form? Over to you, Saurabh.
So multiple dimensions. I mean, we already have the option to add these custom fields to each form. And you can add multiple custom fields to any given form. It's not limited to it's not like you can only add one custom field to any given form. And okay, I need to keep moving. I am Drax. I don't move, so I become invisible. So anyways, you already can add multiple custom fields to any given form. It's not limited to like one custom field per form.
Nice. Moving to the next three questions and going to Sina Raisi's question.
I'll keep moving around, right? So please, I'm going to be a bit fidgety now. So
what software are you using to manage the stream, pushing comments live and so on? Oh, we're using StreamYard. So we tried a lot of software. I'm using OBS on my desktop that captures my stream and then pushes to StreamYard. And it delays it a little bit as well, but otherwise we're using StreamYard to do this. Going back to one more question from Sashi Nair, can we create a custom field for calculations, or can we put formula in it? Good question. That's a good question.
So we had this in our previous.
Don't say that. Don't say that. I know you were going to say this. Don't say that. Are we going to have this in the new version or not?
Eventually, yes.
How important is this formulas in custom field?
So, based on data that I had from the previous system.
Give me a use case. Why would you need formulas in custom fields?
So let's say that you want to give an indicator to your salesperson that what the markup price should be, and you have added some indicators using custom fields, and then you want to mark it up by 20%. So when I open the invoice form, then I have got three fields wherein I can enter my costs, and then I put a calculated field which says, okay, 20% of that. And then immediately you get the markup price, which they can then enter in the invoice or in the quotation and send it. So there are use cases for that, but not a lot. I would say probably 2 to 3% of the people maybe used the calculated options in custom field in books. More people use this option in CRM actually.
Yes. Yeah, because books would be reports, right? So I can put custom field manipulation in reports, but I'm not sure about custom field everywhere in every document where you have formulas inside. It just makes it more complicated. It'll make it more slow as well.
Exactly. Because every time you load the screen, then you have to, and I mean, you have to do the calculation again.
You'll have to
And
go.
there are,
You have to keep a separate layer of table in front of
yeah.
the table. It's going to slow it down. So we'll probably have it thought out. But yes, on the report side, absolutely. You can manipulate custom fields, bring it out, and then throw it in a report and do all kinds of calculations. So transaction side, we'll probably not have formulas soon. On the report side, we'll have formulas ASAP. The next report update is due next week. You'll see some more progress, but we'll have that in the report very soon. We also have some automations coming up soon. Rohit, if you're on the stream, you were supposed to see it today. We'll see it tomorrow. One more question. Is any plan to add more custom field types than the current 3 types? Saurabh?
So the primary use of custom field is for reporting ultimately, and dropdown is what you would typically use for that. Then you can add numbers or text to print out on your documents. So these 3 are the most commonly used ones. I mean, in theory, you can add a lot many more custom fields like multi-select and whatnot. And again, it's a question of what kind of usage we see and what kind of requests we get. I mean, how many people really want to use that? Because if you're using, I mean, primarily if you're using tags, for example, right, then you can add multiple tags or custom fields for any given field, for any given form.
We have item that has multiple taxes and freight, forwarding, transportation on the taxes calculated on total. How do we handle this?
So freight, etc., forwarding, transportation.
Sometimes I feel it's Asit asking these questions.
So okay, multiple taxes is I mean, we showed today during the Canada compliance and last time in Australia compliance how to handle multiple taxes by creating tax groups. So if you're using tax groups, then you can handle multiple taxes.
Maybe you can show it once again later on. That's important because I think once you have multiple taxes,
Yeah.
then you can add your freight, forwarding, transportation as part of the invoice, right? As part of the document.
Correct. So you can add freight, and just add the tax on top of that.
Why is it freight? It's freight, right? It's not freight. Okay, so you can add that. I think you can add that in the document as we have it even now. So that shouldn't be a problem. But once we have UA taxes, that's going to be like in the bag. With that, we will move on to the next. Thank you, Vicky, and thank you, Sina, for appreciating my background. Thank you. We'll move on to the next part of the demo. Back to David, who has been waiting patiently for the next part of the demo. I'm going to take myself off. I'm going to take Saurabh off as well. Back to you.
All right, so we're going to do custom field filters. There's a lot of people that have requested filtering of your contacts through filters. So inside here, you can create different custom fields like city or birth country. And then inside here, you can go and create them. And then from there, you can see it's a text type, it's a drop-down type, and so forth. And then we can go back to contacts. Now inside here, you'll notice that we had originally on the right-hand screen, we had where you can select contacts, organizations, or all from there. They've now changed this feature. Now, if you go up here to the filter and click it, you can now filter out by people and organizations here. So you can see here that on the screen, we have Acme Inc., which is an organization, and Avengers, which is an organization. Big Marvel fan. And then you can go here to organizations, and then you can see it's filtered out. Now you can click on people, and now you can see all the people here, like Hawkeye, Tony Stark. And then here you can see the entire screen with everyone in there. You also can click here on the magnifying glass, and you can type in the name of the contact you wish to search for. So for example, Mike, and then it filters out Mike accordingly. Now you can go and remove Mike from the filter by clicking the magnifying glass, and then you can just clear it. Just by deleting it, it's now cleared. Next, we can click on filters here. And then you can see like the owner, sub-owner, visibility, and label. And you can see add custom fields filter here on the screen. And inside here, you can see, for example, visibility is private, is Acme Inc. You can drill into the contact. You can see inside of the custom fields like birth country, US, city, Texas, usually state, but maybe he's talking about Texas City. So inside there, and let's click on Daniel. And in Daniel, you can see his birth country is Germany and the city is Berlin. And then if you click on contacts, you can click on the filters. Then you can add custom field filters here. You also click on visibility, and then you can add visibility, for example, private, team, or everyone. And you can see here, private is Acme Inc. So you click on the visibility, click private, apply filter, and then you can see Acme Inc. shows here. Then you can go back to the filters, and then you can click on, click on the filters. And then you can clear the section here. And then all the filters will show accordingly. Then if you click on filters, we can add a custom field filter. So if I click here, I can click, for example, city, and I can type in Texas, which I believe is a state in the US. And inside here, you can see Mike has been filtered out. So it allows you to filter out by custom fields, so you can see your contacts accordingly. So inside here, you can see city, Texas. Next, you can click on the filter. And we're going to add a custom field. I'm going to select the other one, the city, which was a drop down. Birth country, which is a drop down. And then we can select the value. So you can see it's now a drop down value here. And you can click on the value. And then you can select, of course, the drop down here, like France, Germany, US. So click on Germany, you can apply the filter, and then you can see it's filtered out Daniel accordingly. All right. So that's the custom field filters. Next, we're going to contractor payroll. So let's go watch contractor payroll.
I think we'll just spend a moment here. There was a question on better UX. To clear contact filter search criteria with one click. Saurabh, you want to take this? I'm not sure what this means, though.
No, I think, David, if you could go back to the section where we added the contact filters, and then we removed that. I think Christ is referring to that.
I just closed it, so 1 second.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. We don't have to go back to that specific thing. But is there something that we can do?
I believe there's a button, meaning inside when you click on the filter itself, and you see all there's a button on the very top of the screen which says clear filter. So you just click on that and immediately clears it all. So you don't have.
Cool. See if you can find that, and we take the next question. David, see if you can find that.
Okay.
So you can share the screen. And we'll just take the next question. I think Shashi is saying the tax should be calculated on the total amount. I think that should be possible, right, Saurabh?
Yes. So right now, how to do that is to select the same tax on all the line items. It can be done faster by giving like a one-click selection that apply the same tax to all the line items, and then you have the tax calculated on the total amount. So we can improve the UI, or rather the UX there, but it is already possible.
If it does it, right?
Yeah, it already does. But let's say I have 50 line items, then I have to enter the tax in each line separately. So I can give one button where I just click and select the tax that I want to apply to the entire document, and it gets applied at one click.
Yeah,
so
for some reason,
UX, but yeah.
Some reason you can't. See, this is one debate that I want to do with like a few people on the group. There is a high volume accountant scenario, a persona of an accountant that uses something like Deskera or a desktop application for accounting. Like in India, they use Tally, right? And they use it in a very high volume way. What that means is thousands of transactions a day, hundreds of items per invoice, taxes added on top, freight, just like how Sashi said. Is something like Deskera suitable for that scenario, or are you saying you should use Tally or a desktop application or something else for this? Because there is a breed of accountants that just do sort accounting using keyboard. They don't use mouse. They don't just sit on the computer. And if you go to India, you'll see them using Tally, which is a software that doesn't even need mouse, right? You can just use your keyboard and keyboard shortcuts. And then they do transactions like a robot. They just click. You know what I mean, right? They just click, 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 done, 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 right? Can that be done? And that's something that I haven't seen in the States. So when I see people in the States using software, I don't see that use case of high transaction, high volume user. So can that be done in Deskera, or you're saying you should use something specific for that?
I don't see any reason why it cannot be. Only
Keyboard
thing is that
shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts.
yeah,
There you
keyboard shortcuts are slightly more difficult to implement in web applications
Yeah.
compared to desktop applications. So that is
If you
always
don't
the
have
challenge.
keyboard shortcuts, how will you quickly do all the transactions? All that.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be. I mean, this is just a limitation of the platform itself to a certain extent. I mean, you cannot have the full capability of a desktop application on a web-based application. I mean, that's not possible right now. Um, can we get close to it? Maybe through tabbing, etc. But again, tabbing, etc. also have their own limitations on a browser because the browser handles it all very differently. So there will be certain limitations, but you have to counter that. I mean, you have to weigh that against the advantages that you get from using a web-based application versus a desktop application. If you're using a desktop application, I mean, during COVID, for example, you wouldn't even be able to open, enter one invoice if your desktop was in your office and you cannot go there during the lockdown. You're stuck. You have to do it on,
Right. Okay. Bad example, but anyway, I get it. Okay. So in short, maybe it's not useful for very high volume transaction. So coming back to this last question, if you have 50 taxes, then it'll probably take a lot of time to do that, but we can still do that in the software, right? So the answer
Yes.
is we can still do
Yes.
that in the software. Okay. He's asking a question on sales order on phone. I think I'll answer that. So we're not going to add anything on the phone app. The phone app will probably, sales order on phone. Do you want to add sales order on phone?
We don't have sales order either on phone or on web. We have quotations and we have invoices, and quotations can serve as sales order also. I mean,
So use quotations. We don't have sales order, just use quotation. French is needed. What about French? Where are we with French?
so French we showed the other day that the translated page. It's just waiting to be released. That's all, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, haven't come around to that, but yeah, we'll release that.
Once Canada is out fully and it's properly
Yeah,
tested.
together with Canada, I think, because we will need French language in Canada. Yes.
David, are you ready with the part of demo that you wanted to show?
Yeah, the clear section, right?
Yeah.
I have the screen up.
And whoever's managing the tags, please change the tags. We're not showing contractor payroll. We're showing something else right now. We're showing CRM.
Yep, we're showing CRM, just the, what's it called? Clear section one. That was a question originally. So inside here, we have the clear section button up here. So this is where you click it in order to clear it. So I believe he showed it earlier. Let me just go back here. And he just clicked the button and it was cleared. So you can see here, he goes here. No, just a little bit further back, sorry. Just a little bit further back. He clicks on the filter. And you can see here the clear section. So he just clears it at a click of the button, and it's all clear here.
Got it. So we have that feature. Now we will move to contractor payroll. So back to you, David, and back to your screen sharing. Over to you.
All right, so inside here we have contractor payroll. So I'm just going to click this, and we're going to click on the employees and the employee list. So inside here we have employees and contractors. So you click on contractor, and then you can add a contractor here, or click the three dots and you can edit. So you can see here Albert, and you can see individual or business. You can see address. You can see his wage. Is he hourly wage or fixed amount? And $100 an hour, that's pretty darn good. And cash payment, direct deposit, or check. And then from there you can save it. Then after that, you can scroll and click on payroll. So now you'll notice there's two different types. There's pay run and there's contractor pay run. So we have two different types now. So if you click on contractor pay run, you can see the different contractors here, their total cost, status, and you can click on pay contractors. So inside here, you can click on the pay date. So for example, 11th, you can select the contractors accordingly, or you can select all contractors as well based upon your requirements. So for example, Albert or Bob, you just click all contractors and you can do all of them. And then you proceed to payroll. So inside here, you can see the contractors, time work. You can fill in the time worked by contractors if applicable, additional earnings, and you can see the net pay. So for example, Albert is hourly. So you put in the time he's worked, for example, 10 hours. And you saw his original salary was $100 per hour, so it's now $1,000. And you can now select the employee. So for example, Albert, you can click edit. You can now add a component. So for example, if I want to add in a bonus, they did a really good job, I can put in the amount here. You can click add component, and then I can go and save. After that, I can see the amount here, the bonus here, and the net pay accordingly. Now I can click next. I can see if all the information looks correct. And then I can process payroll. I ensure everything looks good and click yes. And then I can see the total amount, the pay date, the additional earnings up on top of the screen. And then I can click finish, and the payroll is now been processed for the contractors. You can click view summary to drill in, and I can see the information here. So that's for contractors. Any questions on that, or?
Yeah, we will spend a little bit of time on that. So sort of contractor payroll. What?
Yeah, I mean,
First of all, my first question is it done? As in whatever we have, I'm not saying it's released or not. I'm just saying, is it done in terms of all the features, or we are still adding features? Is it like off the bat useful for people to use or not?
yeah, it is. I mean, you can run all the contractor payrolls. You can give the values there. You can generate form 1099 if you are in the US. So all of that is already in. So when we release it after like the final QA is done, then it will be in a usable state.
Okay, and what's so it's pretty much waiting for release, and then we'll ask questions from users. How does it work for them?
Yeah.
Cool. Any more questions on contractor? Is it somebody has questions on contractor? Please feel free to ask. We'll move to the next one, David. We'll move to the next one, I think.
All right, sounds good.
Whenever you're ready.
This one is benefits.
Cool.
So inside here, you can now see we have benefits. So I believe we saw that on Monday as well. So you click here, benefits, and then you can see your different benefits, your wellness, your telecom, your dental benefits, the employer's deductions, employee deductions, employer's deductions. And you can just click and add benefits. So for example, commuter benefits. And then you can choose the type of deduction here. Is it pre-tax or post-tax? You can put in the employee employer contribution, and you can put in the employee contribution here as well. So for example, $100 for the employer, and then $30 or $50 for the employee. Then you can put in annual maximum contribution. And then is it applicable to all users or is it applicable only to a specific user? For example, Luke Skywalker, he gets commuter benefits. Sorry, Han Solo. And then after that, you can go click and see all the benefits here. And then you can click on the pay run. And then you'll be able to see the benefits inside there. So let's add a pay run. We put the pay schedule. We select the payment date. We select the work period. So for example, we want to select January, not December. You said the pay date. Yep, so January 1st to January 31st, and then you can click apply. And then you can select the user. So process payroll for all users. So then inside here, you can see the different employees and you can see the different deductions. So you can see the commuter benefit deduction here and the wellness benefit deduction here. And you can see the different deductions for employer and employee. So based upon what was created in the system under benefits. Then you click next, you can see all the information there accordingly. And then you click yes. And then you can view a summary here. See, make sure everything looks good. You can see the wellness and the commuter benefits in the summary screen here. And make sure everything looks correct. And then you have your benefit. So that's your benefits in the system here.
Cool. There's a question. I see a question on the YouTube channel, but I don't see it here on StreamYard. So I'm not able to bring it over here. And the question is, do we do Quebec taxes? The answer is yes.
Yes.
We do Quebec taxes. When we release it, we'll have Quebec taxes. So over to the next. Let me see.
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly. Okay, back to bi-weekly. So go on, David. Show bi-weekly, please. Bi-weekly.
All right. So in here, we're going to show bi-weekly. So first comes to first. You're going to employee list. So you can see your employees here. Let's go to pay schedule. Yes. So inside here's the pay schedule. You can add a pay schedule here, and you can see the different types. We have monthly, weekly, twice per month, and bi-weekly. So now you can select the bi-weekly one based upon your requirements. One's already been created, so he's going to go in and he's going to go edit it. So inside here, you can see bi-weekly. Here, you can see the pay date, first pay date, and the period. Then we can go to the payroll and do the pay run. You can add a pay run here. And then you can select bi-weekly. Pay run here, you can see the pay date, bi-weekly. You can see the first pay date, the work period. And you can applicable to all users or a specific user based upon your requirements. For example, John Evans or so. And then you can process the payroll. So it's processing based upon the bi-weekly, and you can see the information is coming accordingly to that. So the number of overtime hours worked, of course, but you can click your overtime, you can put 1.5 or 2 based on your requirements. And you can see the additional earnings, all the federal income, Social Security, Medicare. It's all based upon a bi-weekly week.
Nice.
See here per pay run. And then you click here and you can see all the information. It all looks good. And you can see your net pay. You can see your all the wonderful tax compliance or US compliance. And you can click here and then you finish and it's processed. And you can see here, please make sure 14,000 is your account for the pay run. And you can click the I, and then you can see the summary here accordingly for the bi-weekly payroll.
Okay, good. We have bi-weekly payroll. What else is missing for US now? So we have got bi-weekly done. We've got Canada done. We've got um, taxes done, right? 50 states done, almost done,
Almost.
almost done. What else is pending for US?
So direct deposits. So again, we are adding the capability to process your payroll and then immediately deposit the money into your employees' bank accounts. So
Oh.
direct
Hey,
deposits.
who are we working with for direct deposits? Are we doing it ourselves?
Dwala.
Oh yeah, that should be working, right? That's up, right?
It's work in progress because first we have to finish the state-wise compliances.
Okay. So we're waiting for direct debit, and that's pretty much it. So is that the only thing we're waiting for?
Yes, because once we have the compliances in and the direct debits in, then we are pretty much set.
Cool. Okay. For some reason, what has happened is that we are not able to see new comments on the StreamYard interface. So we will have to paste the comments over. So Somesh, if you're on the stream, go to our YouTube page, copy the comments, and then bring them over here. But I don't see any new comments except a few. But coming back to the stream, what is next in? Let me just add this. Okay, so what do we have next? We'll probably skip um, Malaysia payroll.
I think somebody requested for a 2-minute sneak peek for Malaysia payroll
Somebody
in
did.
the chat on YouTube. Christ Wolves, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's do the Malaysia payroll quick one, and then we will move to. I think we'll have to do US benefits. We have done the US benefits, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much at the end of it. Cool. So we'll, David, are you able to show the Malaysia payroll quickly? And as soon as you're ready, just let me know. I'm going to add you to the stream. You're on the stream now. Whenever you're ready, just let me know.
All right, I have the video all ready.
Cool.
So I'll just press play. So, of course, you have to set up your company accordingly based upon Malaysia. So, but after you set up it as Malaysia, you can see here we have the EPF accounting. So you have the EPF code, the employer's EPF number. You have your employer type, your employer. You have your EPF code, your employer EPF number, your EPF payment type, sequence number, your obligation to contribute to EPF. So all the statutory requirement information here. Then under tax details, you have your company regulation number, your employer tax number, company tax number, your SO, CSO, or SOX number, your HRDF, and your SOT
If I'm
number.
not wrong, it's SOXO.
SOXO. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's SOXO number.
Sorry,
David,
SOX number.
you stay in Singapore. You are close to Malaysia, but you should know these things as well. Just kidding. Sorry, just keep going. Yeah.
Oh, no problem. It's just going through and you can see the components here. The key thing in here is that when you edit it, you can go here and see your compliances. So you have, of course, your SOXCO number, your EPF, your PCB, and others that you can set up here. And when you add a component, you can put in your compliance information accordingly.
Cool. Does that answer your question, Christ Wolves? Hopefully. It's 1 a.m. Dude, Christ Wolves, go and sleep, man. We'll show it on Monday anyway. Having said that, even on a regular day, I'm up at 1 a.m., so I don't know what I'm talking about. But yes, if you want to see it again, you can see it again on Monday. Question to you, Saurabh. This is ready for payroll, and we are the books is compliant for Malaysia, right?
It already is, yes.
So we have the books and the payroll completely compliant for Malaysia. So we are completely, all set for Malaysia now.
Yes.
Cool.
Unless, Malaysia changes something again.
As of
Of
today.
now, yes, we are fully compliant.
Good. So Malaysia bole, and good that we are compliant for Malaysia. That's a great feeling. We are not there for Indonesia though, right?
Yeah, Indonesia, we have compliance in books, but we need to add Indonesian payroll, which we will pick up after we have finished Malaysia.
Oh, okay. Please do
Mamsi will
that.
be very happy tonight. He'll.
Amsi, are you on the call? If you're on the call, then you leave a comment here. I doubt he's on the call. But anyway, what time is it in Jakarta? It's 1 hour ahead of us, man. It's like 12.
Yeah.
It's midnight, man. It's like noon for us. Okay. With that, we've got Malaysia done, and David with Messi here now. Thank you, Grace Wolves. Thank you so much. Know that Malaysia employee can choose to contribute 9%, 11% APF from next year onwards. Okay, we'll make sure we add this. There'll be a few back and forth, I'm sure, in terms of
Yeah,
testing.
that one we are already aware of, so we will incorporate that. I mean, that's already going to be incorporated.
You're saying that because you read the message, so that's you have benefit of hindsight.
No, I mean, this one
Yeah, benefit of hindsight by like 3 seconds. But having said that, good. We've shown Malaysia now. Back to David. What do we have to show now? We are pretty much done with all the demos items. Let me just show that. We have a very lazy stream operator that wouldn't stream anything.
The layout guy.
Layout guy is very lazy. So, Mishra, please do a better job with layout, man. Come on. We have shown bi-weekly payroll run. So we're pretty much done with this list. If you have a question on this list, anyone has a question on this list, please leave a comment below, which we will pick up from YouTube and bring it here. Coming back to the demo, should we go ahead and show the CRM demo and the people demo, or should we just do Q&A? Please leave a comment below, and we will wait for your comment. We can show the full demo if you want, but if you want us to take over the questions or answer your questions, please leave a comment, and then we will quickly answer the questions. If we don't have that, then we will webinar replay. If we missed Canada compliance, you can replay the webinar, first part of it at least, the first 10 minutes are on Canada compliance.
Yeah, and I had put the video on Facebook as well. So just have a look.
Okay, cool. So we have Canada compliant on the Facebook group as well, Jonathan. So hopefully that answers your question. Coming back to the demo. So do we show the demo quickly of other things? My vote is we answer questions. If we don't have any questions, we'll take up Shashi Nair's question, which are always very extensive and very detailed. So coming back to his question. Question from Shashi Nair is, can we do leave encashment and air ticket on payroll? Good question.
So right now, no, we don't have any automatic calculation for leave encashment, etc. But you can add a component.
That's where your custom formulas come in, man. Where are your custom formulas? We're talking about custom formulas. That's your custom formula right there.
Yeah, it probably will not be satisfied with a custom formula because you will need to create a component, and then depending on the geography, you have to apply all those. You saw those little ticks like EPF, SOXO, etc. For Malaysia, or for India, it will be like PF, etc. So there are certain. I mean, it is either taxable or not taxable. Then you have to do all those adjustments as well. So
okay,
yeah.
When do we have leave encashment, and when do we have these things in the system?
It is not in the current pipeline at this moment.
Leave encashment should be in the pipeline. Why is leave encashment not in the pipeline?
Well, leave encashment typically would come into play when you have like 100 employees or 500 employees, or
Okay, I mean, so we don't expect our customers to have 100 employees. That's what your expectation is.
I do, but frankly, nobody else has asked for it. I mean, if it was that important, then somebody would have asked for it already.
And you had
And
this,
multiple people would have asked for it.
and you had this in the previous version, right?
Yes, we had. We already had this. We'll get there. So, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
There is a roadmap. I mean, if we keep moving away from the roadmap every week or so, then
Just
nothing will
asking
ever get
questions,
completed.
man. Asking questions. That's why we're doing the webinar, right?
Yeah.
Next question is again. His question is gratuity calculations. Can you do that?
Again, you can add a component for gratuity, and you can put the value in there.
Okay. So answer is yes. Answer
Yeah,
is yes.
I mean, you can, yes, you can add the component for gratuity whenever it matures, and you can add it into the payroll component.
Cool. Is the CRM video available on Deskera channel? So we have Patty asking about CRM. Patty, is this a CRM demo you're talking about, or you're talking about a CRM feature, a specific CRM feature? We showed these things in the webinar. Let me just show you the screen. That's your, hold on. Yeah, we showed this in the webinar, which is custom field for contacts in the webinar. But if you're talking about the CRM demo, we haven't done that yet. If there are enough users who would like to see the demo again, we would do that. Oh, a demo. Okay, cool. Think we should do that then. David, time to show a demo of CRM. So over to you, quick demo of CRM, and then we'll come back to answer questions. Over to you, David, with a demo of CRM, and I'm going to add you to the stream. There you go. Please feel free to do a demo of CRM. There you go.
Excellent. So first off, I'm just going to actually, let me go back to here. So this is the all-in-one dashboard. Inside here, you can see something that looks like a dice or Rubik's Cube. If you click on that, you can click on Deskera Sales. So that'll bring you to Deskera Sales, and you can see our dashboard. You can see our contacts report for the last week, month, or past 6 months, any upcoming activities, our default pipeline, our deal stages for the last week, months, or past 6 months, any deals won or lost, and our campaigns for the information here, my total campaigns. And I can see my total tickets here. How many unsolved tickets, new tickets, pending tickets accordingly. So let me just go quickly to settings. So inside here, this is where your user settings are. If I click that, it'll take me back to this screen and to my user management to add in my users here. Next, we have our team settings. So inside our team settings, so this is where you can create your different teams, because we have different types of views. So you can decide, is this private? Is it meant to be seen by my team, or is it available for everyone? So this is where you set it up. I can add a team. So for maybe this is just, what's it called? A sales team. I can select my members here. So for example, Anna Martinez, Marianne Moss, Daniel Rodriguez, and then I can just save it here accordingly. And then the team is created. We have custom fields. So just like in books, we have our different custom fields. So this is where you have your text, drop down, and number. And you can decide. So for example, text could be remarks. I can put in the maximum length. I can put in the number. So you can think of it, for example, maybe like size of company. Because maybe you need to know how big the company is when you're doing your, what's it called? Your wonderful quotation or your deal and putting in the information. And you can do your decimal precision here. And then we have our drop down. So you can think of it maybe like food preference, or what's it called? What he enjoys, or where he does his deal creation, or maybe different departments. For example, is this person part of the finance department? So no finance. Or is he part of the sales? Or is he the CEO of the company? And then you can add it here. And then you have your different modules. So you can add into your contacts or your deals here. We have our email. So this is where you have your IMAP and you connect to your email. So when you click here, you can put in your email address, username, password, your server port, and allow non-secure certificates. We also have our guides here. So if you have a help center, this is where you can create it. This is where you can go and put in your help center logo and hero banner. Also under settings, you can activate your help center, and you can determine to activate or remove Powered by Deskera based upon your requirements. And then you can open it on up. You can see your help center here. In Deskera Cloud, under my accounts, under my settings, this is where you can add your custom domain for your help center. So if you have your own domain and you want to use it, you can put in your custom domain here. We have our tickets. So this is where you connect your tickets to. And we also have our ticket views. So I can see all the different views here. Inside here, I can see different types of fields. So for example, type, last created date, last updated, last solved, assignee, and priority. And I can determine is not less than or greater than. So for example, I've made this Andy's view. So I say assignee's Andy, status is open. Last created greater than 24 hours, meaning this thing's been open for 24 hours, what's going on? And what is the priority? High, for example. Of course, I have our art trail. Inside campaigns, this is where you can deactivate Powered by Deskera if you're required to, if you want to remove that. We have our import log, and we have our contact sync. So if you created contacts before the integration was there, you can go here, and I can show my matching records and non-matching records, and then I can go and drag and drop. So for example, maybe I want to see if any of these matches, like top gadgets. I can go down here and bring this on up. And I can match it, and I can sync the contact accordingly. Now they're synced and they're matched together.
Yeah, so David, I think the important message here is that this is, so this sync screen is only for contacts that were added before we added the sync functionality between books and CRM. Now, if you add any contact, it just automatically goes to books. So you don't have to go and do this manual mapping anymore.
It's only, yes,
just
correct.
for your existing contacts that might have already been imported. So we don't want you to, kind of delete them and add them again. So just go ahead and use the mapping functionality here to match them.
Correct. So inside here, I can then see all my contacts. I can see my people and organization. As shown in the demo, this is going to be changed. And inside here, we have the search function. So I can just type in the name and it'll filter out accordingly. For example, top. And you can see now top gadgets is here. We have this filter. So the same filters we saw, but we're going to also have custom filters here as we've shown. And we have also the clear section here. Now, if I create a contact, I can click create, put in the contact name if it's a person or organization. So for example, Johnny Lee, for example. Then I can browse an image and add an image. I can select an organization here. So for example, maybe Chrissy's Web Design. I can select a label. It's a cold, warm, hot. And based upon what I require, I can put an email address. I can select the owner. I can select the sub-owner. So maybe Daniel. And I can select the custom fields. For example, type, food, remarks, department. We also have an import function. So this is where you can go click here and you can import your people or your organizations here. Because we're not evil. We're not going to make you create it one by one, which would just be horrifying. In marketing, we have our segments. So this is where you can create your different segments. And I can drill in and I can see if there's any information there, meaning campaign information. So I click here and see if there's a campaign. Oh, let's do monitor leads. So I can see here my different campaigns. I can see how many viewed, the active status, read, unsubscribe, label, or received mail. I can go to my email and I can add a template here and simply just dragging and dropping the information that I require. So you can see here I have my footer. This is for statutory compliance for anti-spam laws. And you literally just drag and drop like this, the text. I can drag image groups here if I want to. And I can just drag an image here, for example. And then I can just add an image. Click here, add an image. Or I can just drag and drop an image in here as well. And then I can see what it looks like on the PC, the tablet, or the mobile app. I also can click on these, and I can also click edit if I want to. I can see the information here as well. We have forms. Yes, good old forms. So inside here, I can click add form. So this is where we can create a form for contacts. Deals coming soon. And I can just drag and drop. So for example, I have a custom field called title. I just add title here. Maybe I want to know their address, where they're located. I want maybe email so I can contact them again. Maybe I want any additional remarks they have. And maybe I want to know what organization they're from, for example. And then inside here, I can mark it as mandatory, put in the form name. And I can go down here and then click next. And now this is where I can choose what happens after they submit. Do I want to display a thank you message, or do I want to redirect them to another page like CNN.com? I can see who the owner should be, the sub owner should be, and assign teams and labels. And then after that, once the form is generated, I can go here and I can copy embedded code and embed it into my web page or add it to my web page. So next, let's go to campaign. So inside here's where I can create a campaign. I can click add. I can put in the campaign name, put in the subject. I can select the category here. Is it going to be sales? I can add additional category. Next, I can select my leads. So for example, keyboard, monitor leads, for example, based on my requirements. Click next. I can select my template. So maybe, oops, let's use this one. If everything looks good, I can save and continue. After saving and continuing, I can click next. And then I can put in my sender name. If I put in a different name that I have not used before, for example, you can see I have to verify the email. I can use a different reply address, and I can send now or schedule for later. Let's send now. Let's wake up all my fellow wonderful colleagues. Now let's go to the campaign, and I can see it's scheduled. And then after that, I can then see later once anyone actually reads and sees it. Also in here, I can drill in. I can see all the wonderful people I've annoyed in the past. Which ones read it, what date they read it, and have they blocked me or not? Meaning inside here under marketing, you can see under segments if anyone has unsubscribed, because we have that button there. It's part of the Spam Act. So inside the footer, we have to put in our address and an unsubscribe button, so they have to they can unsubscribe if they want to. Next, let's go to services. So inside here, we can go and create our guides. So inside here, I can see my different sections, and I can see my different articles here. If I click here, I can edit my article, and I can see inside here what my article looks like. Does it look good? Does it look bad? Is it horrific? For example, how to connect email account using Deskera CRM. So you can see you have your images, you have all your different information accordingly. And inside here, you can bold, italicize, underline, strike through, indent, bullets, numberings, change the font, add a link, or add a picture. I can say who's visible. Is it signed in or everyone? What section it goes under to, and the author, and I can preview it. I can also click here and unpublish or not. So just remember, inside here, you have to click on this arrow to publish it or unpublish it. If you just click save, it just saves it. So just please take note of that. And of course, you can always add more sections and more articles inside here. Next, inside support, I can see my normal tickets. I can see important policy change and help. So I can see unsolved tickets, unassigned, new tickets, pending, recently solved. Andy's view, of course, recently updated tickets, and I can manage your ticket views here. I can click on this and I can see the information. I can see, okay, requester, assignee, incident type, priority. I can see the wonderful conversations I've had with them. Dear support, I'm facing challenges. I've assigned this person screaming help, we're working on it, all the wonderful stuff here. And I can change the status here, save as open, save as pending, or save as solved. And you can see emails just come on in based upon the email address. I can also click create a ticket here. I can put 2 internal notes. I can send requester here. I can do a select assignee. And I can select the types, question, incident, task, or problem. And I can select the priority, urgent, low, normal, or high. And I can save as new. Yep. For example. Now you can see subject here as well. Okay, let's go make a deal. So inside here, I can see all my pipeline and all the different stages. So appointment schedule, qualify to buy, presentation schedule, decision maker buy-in. And if I click up here, I can add my own pipeline because different companies may have different requirements for their pipeline. And I can add in as many stages as I like, as you can see here. And of course, here we have our stage name, help text, probability, and rotting days. How many days before this deal becomes rotten? So let's go back. I can click on the plus sign to create a deal. I can also click here and see the list view. So if I click the list view, I can see exactly what's going on. I can say, what the heck? David, you're supposed to, oh, that's fine. Okay, let's see. Marie, you're supposed to close this on 13/11. What happened? Or, David, you're supposed to close this on 30/11. What the heck happened? So I can see what's going on here, what's won, what's open. So I can click here. I can click on the plus sign to create a deal, or I can click create deal directly on the screen. So let me just click on the plus sign. So let's see, what should we call this? Opportunity to sell 10 laptops, for example. And then I can select the organization. Okay, top gadgets. You can see the contact name came on in. I can select the sub owner. So maybe I want Daniel and I want John Johnson. And I can go here and see 10. So let's go here and maybe make this $10,000. Select my pipeline, set the staging, and set the closing date and save. After that, I can drill in. So inside here, I can see my information accordingly. All my good old operators to sell. Okay. And just click on the 3 dots, edit deal or delete deal here. I can connect my email. I can create activities, any notes. And then once I do that, I can just drag and drop it to wherever I'd like. All the way to deal won or deal lost. All right. And that's a quick look at CRM.
Thing to notice is slightly slow. The dashboard is slow. Saurabh, just take this note.
Yeah, noted.
Why is this? Books is very fast. This one is slightly slow. So see if it's our issue or the backend issue. Coming back, the question asked is, what system do you use? Security, infra. We run on AWS. I think we've said that multiple times. And backend is AWS. Beyond that, obviously can't talk much about security. It's just pretty secure. This is a completely cloud system designed on AWS. So whatever AWS offers, we use that. And we've been doing this for the last 10, 12 years. So we have a good idea of making it secure, making it very designed for cloud. Every country has its own cloud. So US has their own cloud. Again, AWS, and Singapore has their own AWS. So this is a system that sits on AWS, built for AWS. It can't even move to, we're moving it to Azure for some instances, and basically it sits on one cloud and, uses all the infra on that cloud. Hopefully that answers the question. There's a question from Sarup Patel. How are the different ways a ticket can be raised by the customer? Saurabh?
Yeah, so right now the ticket can be raised by sending an email to the support email address that you configure in CRM. So we don't have support for web form or other channels But as we add more channels to the system, for example, we are already working on WhatsApp integration. We are looking at Twilio, etc. So as we add more channels, then each of these channels can potentially be used to create tickets inside the system, and we can have a truly multi-channel support system in place.
Okay. So with that, I think web you can add a ticket anyway.
Hmm.
How about phone? Can you add a ticket using phone?
Right now,
Yeah, right now. Can you add a ticket using phones on your phone app?
no, I don't think so. You cannot add ticket in the phone app, but on the web, you have the option to manually add a ticket.
No, I'm saying, can you add a help desk ticket using the phone app? I'm sure you can add a ticket using CRM app in the phone, right?
No, I don't think we have added that as yet.
Okay, maybe we can take that for the mobile team. Okay, is it possible to request for organization company data to be on AWS Canada data centers? Yes, only if we only do this for enterprise customers. So only if it's a big customer, we do this for the customer. So if there's a need, yes, but otherwise they sit on public cloud. But if they pay premium, obviously there's a plan available for specific data centers. How are different ways? We have answered that. Current ticket can be raised by customer only via email. With that, hopefully we've answered pretty much all the questions in the stream, and you don't see SKNR saying no. You want to take any other questions, Saurabh?
Oh yeah, he's saying that you cannot add ticket on phone, which we mentioned.
Okay.
So okay.
Can users sync contact sync across two organizations? Sales user who sells service from two organizations. I don't think you can sync between two organizations.
We maintain users separately across different organizations. So I mean, you can switch between different multiple organizations easily just by going to the company switcher, but that we keep the data separate.
Okay, you can sync between organizations. That's not possible.
No.
Can it be possible using APIs?
So we had done something similar in the previous system. I mean, we had done that to some extent, but
We have contact API. You can take the API and you can merge the API if you have.
there are many conditions that need to be met for that to be successful. So we had tried that, and so what happens is, if let's say you have two separate sales teams and they're using separate, they call their fields different, then one person can go and change field in one organization, and then that breaks your integration again. Where will that data go? So there are many complications around that, which are not entirely in our control.
Yeah, assuming there's no complication, then if you take all our API, then take the data out and do whatever you want. You can put it in an Excel sheet ideally, and play with it.
Correct. If there are no changes, I mean, if you use the vanilla system, then yes, it can be very easily transferred. Or if you create a system with fields that you're not changing ever, because every time you change, you may have to do the mapping again and everything, and there will be data integrity issues between the two. Plus, you will also have the added problem of managing visibility across teams, because what if I don't want to show a certain thing to a certain team member, and then in the other organization, how do you transfer all those roles and restrictions? Because roles and restrictions you have to maintain separately.
Cool. Okay. So hopefully that answers your question. If it does not, please send us an email on care, and we'll take a deeper look. Thank you everyone for joining this webinar. We're coming to an end on this webinar. For some reason, our StreamYard, the moment I answered StreamYard, it broke our chat, so we can't see any chat on the StreamYard interface, which we were able to till about an hour ago. So we'll probably have to fix it with StreamYard, and come back on Monday again. So Monday 8 p.m. we'll do a Singapore time. We'll do another demo. Until then, thank you, and keep your questions coming on the Facebook group. We'll take those questions up on Monday and do another round of this on Monday. Hopefully, StreamYard is fixed by then. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it, and see you on Monday. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, and have a good day, night, evening, depending on wherever you are. Good day.